So let's just talk about a few different ConvNet architectures. I'm not going to go into a lot of detail. It's just to give you a sense of how the evolution has been. And if you were to see one of these things or in a paper, you can basically recognize what's going on. So on the left is basically AlexNet, which has 5 different convolutional layers. And so in this case, you have an input image, and the way this is written is typically 11 cross 11 conv 96, which basically means that each kernel is of a size 11 by 11, and there are 96 such kernels. And then you can basically interpret the next layer. It's a 5 cross 5 conv with 256 kernels, and all the way up till the end. FC stands for a fully connected layer or a dense layer, or nn.linear in PyTorch. And so you can see that this initial network was pretty shallow, and it had a lot of fully connected layers. At the end, you can actually see that there are like 3 different fully connected layers, and they're actually of dimension 4096. So they actually contain the bulk of the parameters of this network are in the last 3 layers actually, because they're very, very dense. Now, if you look at these VGG-style networks that came on later, you see that the pattern changes a little bit, right? So all the convolutions in this case are very regular. They're 3 cross 3. Whereas in AlexNet, you have something like 11 by 11, 5 by 5, 3 by 3. You have like all of these different sizes. For a VGG-style network, there's always like 3 by 3 convolutions. And you see this like simple rule that was kind of introduced in this work, which is also now become pretty standard in computer vision, that whenever you double the number of channels, you'll basically have a pooling or a layer that reduces the spatial dimensions by 2. So let's look at the input. You have input, then you have a 3 by 3 conv producing 64 channels. And then you do that twice, then you have a pooling layer. And then you can see that the number of channels has gone up to 128. And so every single time that you see a pooling layer, you'll see that the number of channels is doubling by doubling. So essentially that's all the way that it continues. This network also at the end has 3 different fully connected layers, and it is also like the fully connected layers also have 4,000 dimensions. So again, a majority of the parameters of this network are in those last 3 layers, although they just look like 3. Most of the parameters are really contained in those layers. And 19 basically just has 19 layers. It's again the similar pattern where you'll see that pooling basically after pooling the number of channels will double.